Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Well, hello. I hope everybody can hear me. Let me just make sure my microphone is working here. Howdy, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are out in the solar shed this week. And I am, sorry, I'm back here. There we go. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we don't. Let's just try it this way for a while. Anyway, good to see you all. I debated long and hard on whether I was going to do a show this week or not. It's been a kind of a crazy week, and I've kind of got a lot going on, but I decided that instead of skipping it, I would just do it here, right here in the shed. I've got some work I want to get done, and I figured, what the heck? Let's just do it here in the shed and bring you along with me. It'll be a lot of fun. I've got a couple of different camera views here that I can go through. I think I have this one over here also, which kind of gives me a broken view. Well, let's see if we can get that one to work. And that one looks like it's working. The camera view over there is broken though. Let's see if we can fix that. Yeah, you know how it goes. Nothing ever works the way where it's supposed to work. So I'm going to look at this camera view right here real quick. Let's don't have the camera view. Oh well. Sorry about that, guys. So we're going to have to just deal with this camera here. And we will figure out how to get that to work. What the heck is going on here? That's kind of odd, isn't it? What did I do? Wow. All right, guys. I got to stop playing with these cameras or I'm never going to get this working. Anyway, hope everybody's doing good. I'm going to pull this one just a little bit closer so we can work. Tonight, I'm just going to kind of go through and just work on random stuff. You guys are welcome to ask questions. I encourage the questions. I encourage everything, basically. I just want to hang out and kind of work on some stuff. I'm going to drag this camera over here and probably lower it down just a little bit so you can see where we're working. I don't know if you guys can hear that. The bit miner is still running in the background. It's very noisy. I don't know if you can hear that. I want to point you over there to it, show you the bit miner running live over here in the solar shed. I just got it pointed over there in the corner over here. And so it's sitting right here right now. I got it pointing with the air blowing out the door because it's actually kind of nice out here tonight. It's, you know, getting down at about 60 degrees. So I figured it would be nice to do this out here. It's been running all day. I've used a ton of electricity on the bit miner. But what I want to do tonight is I want to try to hook up a relay for the bit miner where the power comes in and I can take well, I just cannot get this. There we go. Where I can take the power go into that plug right there, this one here, and I can shut it off with a relay, and that way I can control it with Home Assistant, because I don't have enough power to run this thing all day, every day. Running at full speed, this thing uses about 76 kilowatt hours a day. And for those of you who are members, you can see the video on the initial release of the bit miner, how I hooked it up, and kind of how the bit mining thing came along. I've got several other ones coming along with it. But what I want to do tonight is I'm going to try to replace the bit miner box there with this box and put this relay in it and feed the power down through this. And then what I can do is use the use Home Assistant to turn this off and on. Now, it should be pretty easy to do. I did it before on the on the RV, where I used exactly this same relay, which is why I use this relay. This relay is made for 40, 50 amps, and it's only going to be pulling about 20 on that plug's about 20. And even that isn't really pulling about 20 amps. It's not pulling near that much, so I got plenty of room in there. It's 30 amp circuit, so it's got enough to cover the wiring and everything. But this is going to be kind of a complicated scenario, because first I've got to remove some of these batteries. You see my 12-volt bastard battery that I built. Look at this wiring mess that I got down here. This is just a nightmare. So we'll leave the 3 EG4 batteries here, and I'm going to take this 12-volt battery bank and move it down there, where I cleared out some room and got rid of all of the automation stuff. And for the automation stuff, you can see I moved it up into a nice cabinet up here, and I made quite a bunch of nice changes to this. Now, this isn't anywhere near done yet, so but you can see I've got the 110 coming in up here at the top, or the 120 coming in here at the top. I've got a router coming in that brings internet right into this box to connect the Solar Assistant, the Home Assistant. Over here, I've got the Venus system for the solar system here, and I've got a couple of USBs that run from. I did today what I did a really cool thing today or yesterday. I ran a wire in here from the 48-volt system directly, and let me show you that, because that's a really cool little thing there. I might be able to take this camera and zoom in on it for you. Let's see if I can do that. That'd be kind of a nice little feature of doing it this way. Yeah, so I can zoom in on it. So you can see here, in this area of the wiring, what I've done is this box takes the 48-volt power from here and turns it into 12-volt and takes it up and into the case up there. So then when it gets up here, into this case, right in that area right there where that wiring mess is, this comes out 12-volt here and then connects to these. These are USB port adapters for like RVs, where it goes in 12 volts and it comes out 2 USB-C and a standard USB 2.0 USB port. And so that allows me to have enough power up in there to control these. But the cool part is that I don't have to worry about the power going out to those. The power never shuts off to those, because they're coming directly from the 48-volt battery. Now, I did put a fuse on them down here. So this has a 20 amp fuse, and this is a 20 amp 12-volt output. And so it'll basically power the whole thing and should have more than enough power to run it. I might even back that fuse off of 20 amps, because it's 20 amp output of the 12 volt, which gives me quite a bit of leeway for 48 volts coming in. Actually, it's 4 times more than it needs to be. It should only be about 5 amps coming in. So I might replace it with a little slightly smaller fuse there to handle that. So it shouldn't be any more than 5 amps coming up and then 20 amps going over here. And these are not using anywhere near that kind of power. But that's kind of, what I was thinking this week, is we just kind of hang out. Now, I do want to see if we are having any issue with sound. I don't know if you guys can hear the background. I'm going to be quiet for a second and see if we can hear the fans in the back. No, it looks like the mic is just completely muting it out. That's amazing that thing is able to actually run over there. And there's another fan over here. I'm going to shut that fan off also. And then I'm going to turn off the bit miner. And now it is very, very quiet in here. So hopefully you guys can hear okay. But with this off, this gives me the ability to get in here and start to mess with this. So I'm just going to work like there's no tomorrow, and talk with you guys as I go along. There's nothing really here special that I want to do other than I just want to get this done. So I'm going to see if I can move this camera. You know what? I might move this camera over to the other side if I can. Get a little bit better angle on this for you. Oh yeah, that's a much better angle. And then this is, I've got a piece of wood for this back plate here. So I'm going to put this in there, and then we'll be able to mount these boxes on top of them. So we'll have to cut one out for this, and that's all got to come out, and I got to redo it in that other box. So we've got quite a bit to do, and I really haven't thought any of this through. I just decided I was coming home from dinner and wasn't deciding if I could even do a live stream tonight. And my wife says, why don't you just do something from the RV, not from the RV, geez. Why don't you just do something from the shed? You're gonna go out there and you're gonna work all night anyway, so why don't you just do a live stream from the shed and take all your people along with you, and they can have feedback as you go along. So I'll watch over here at the chat as I go along and look for questions and see if I can bring them up as they come along. Let me see if the chat window texting is actually working. I'm going to step out of the screen here for a minute and just see if I've got, let's see, YouTube comments are turned on. So that's good. So let me go over here and find out. I'm going to switch to a, switch over here and see if I've got the screens, YouTube comments. And then I need to do properties on them and find the right window. Let me just find the right window real quick so I can show YouTube comments when we have them, guys. It should be this one. There we go. And then I ought to be able to switch back to this, and there we are. Okay. So comments are working. That's good. I'll turn that off. And David says hello. Hello, David. Hope you're doing well. So I will go, I kind of have to go back and forth here, see if I can get, kind of get a balance between using the comments and stuff, because I'm on a single screen out here. I don't have the full screen that I normally have. So, were those comments actually showing up? Let's just see if those are showing up. And oh yeah, they definitely are showing up. Okay, good. All right, so then we've got the picture-in-picture here. Oh, so we've got two views. So I can show you this view from over here also. This is good. This will work. This will kind of give you a far-off view from me here at the console when I'm here. And I could probably show you, yeah, can do that one too. There we go. And that kind of has a little bit more automated view of it for us, and it'll kind of move around with me with this new iPad or Mac. This new Mac, it kind of just moves around with me, so that's kind of cool. And then you've got the secondary view up there in the corner, and we'll just try to play with these a little bit and see what works best, and we can modify this on this live stream and the next stream based on you guys' feedback. So I look forward to that. So I'm going to turn that off there, and then we're going to go back to, let's see if we can go back to this mode here, and there's that screen. This should give us double the view, and it's nice and quiet in here now. So I think I'm just going to get started on getting these 12-volt batteries out of here. I don't know what the system's doing right now. It's probably charging. Let's just see. I know I've got grid running because I've been running the the bit miner like non-stop for days now. Let's just see if I can get to, pardon me while I bounce around here. Let's see if I can get to, you can see here, the batteries are at 28%. The 6000's got almost no energy now that the bit miner's turned off, but we were humming right along at, 2200 watts. And here's where it runs at full steam at 3400 watts. It's crazy. This thing can go through the power when you turn it on full steam. And then we have, okay, so it is charging at 17.9 amps. I think I gauged this to where by morning it would have enough voltage to run on solar all day tomorrow until about 5 or 6 o'clock. And so between the batteries and solar, it would be able to run all day and I'd be able to do it. I'm kind of running a test right now to check it out. Y'all seen the video where I hooked up the charge inverter to the batteries out in the coffee trailer. This thing is really cool. So it turns on automatically and then turns off. And you can see like today, it like charged all day, hit a couple of clouds, and then boom, when it hit its full, as soon as it got full, the charge inverter turned on and ran all the way up till here, and then just boop, clicked off. And so it just automatically transferred all of that power over from that to here. So it's pretty good, but this really is consuming the power. So what I was looking at is, what is this thing doing? It looks like it's doing a whole lot of nothing at this point, which is good. That's what we want. So what we will do is we will switch back to our normal view here. This one, I believe it is, and we will, I can put that right up in the corner. Yeah, like that. Maybe make this just a little bit bigger. So that way you got a good view of that and a good view of this. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing and hearing everything. If there's a problem with it, please let me know. I am looking right now for where I put the screen that shows me that we're online and everything is okay. And oh, it's here. I'm on it. All right. Yep. So here we are, guys. Feel free. Let me know if you run into any problems or anything. I'm going to get started. We're just going to kind of start working our way through this. This is just a trial this week. So what I'm going to do, I think, is first I'm going to start with one of these knee pad things. These things are nice. I tell you what, they saved my knees. I need to start with these batteries. Now I've got a huge mess of wires and stuff in here from moving things around today that I haven't cleaned up. So I'm just going to kind of use the floor here as my workbench tonight. Normally I bring my cart over here, but if I bring my cart, it's going to be right in your guys' way. So let's say we need a 13 millimeter and 14 millimeter for these batteries. So we'll start with, I think what I'm going to do is I'll start with pulling the main leads. These battery leads are live, so you know what I don't want to do is pull them off the wrong way. Let's pull them off. Let's take the main negative out of here, out of the equation from this bank down at the bottom here. That will be the safest way to get this disconnected from the pack, because otherwise I don't have any power in here without that. So I'm just going to take this and then just run this out. I need to be very careful not to touch anything positive with it on the way. And then I'm going to take a socket wrench and switch over to 13 and pull this wire, this negative wire off, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And that'll basically get the bank completely out of commission here. All right, so that done, I can move this wire over here out of the way. And then I probably ought to get rid of the bit minor stuff. So we got some work room here. I got a cart before the horse. I've been doing that a lot with this shed and get things started because I'm so anxious to get things going and done. And then I get into them and I basically have to go back and redo things. Oh, just stay up there for a few minutes. Jeez. Why you have to be so difficult, wire? All right, I'm just going to close that. And then we're going to unplug the 220 volt plugs going to the bit miner. And the charge verter. Okay, so let's take the charge verter cables in. Just trying to clean up some of this cabling here. None of this is permanent because I haven't been able to get these stupid main panel on the bottom here, and I didn't want to go and start hooking things up and running wires permanently, not knowing what I would have as far as, wonder if I can just run these up here, up over this, out of my way for right now. Probably not the, fortunately with these cables at these trubs with the charge verter, these things are super safe to move around. They don't have any way to touch anything because the plugs are inset in there, which is kind of really cool if you think about it. Anyway, all right, so that's that. Now we've got these wires for this Venus system here. I think what I'm going to do is just pull them up out of the way because I don't really want to route them until it's permanent. So if I can get them up and out of the way, that worked pretty well. Yeah. And we still got all this sloppiness from the shunt for all these little red wires and stuff, but really I can't run them until I have the main board here done. So let's get the rest of this battery bank out of the way then. I'm just gonna loosen all of these so that I can get this off. Those are 14s. All right, this one runs to the main one over there, so I'm going to loosen it, but I really would like to get the positive disconnected before I have a free running wire from the main bus over here, considering this bank has them not properly been taken, disconnected, and reconnected with since I turned the system on. So when we put it back on, we can actually fuse this one properly, as all of these others over here have breakers on them. And this one does not. Yeah. So this one we can fix while we're in there, which makes it a good opportunity to do that too. So let's just slide this cable out. And there we go. It did serve its purpose though, being here. I mean, these are 12 random, or excuse me, these are 4 12-volt batteries from different places. These two are the first 2 batteries I ever bought. They were purchased on Amazon a week apart from each other. When I saw the prices drop really low, I bought one. I bought this can one here first, and I think I paid $160, $170 for it. It's a 12 volt 48 12 volt 100 amp hour, and then it wasn't, I would say probably 6 or 7 days later, and another company came out with another battery, this one, the black one here on my left. I can slide this over where you guys can see it, and still a lot of construction dust from when I put that in this earlier. And they put it on sale for $129. So I turned around and bought a second one right after I bought the first one. Now these went into the original coffee trailer so that I could keep coffee, so I could keep the coffee trailer running when I didn't have power. So kind of ironic that the very first batteries, and then I put those, so those two I put together with these two here. Now, where's that trash can at? There we go. These two, this one is the lead time, and the nice thing is I got a Victron GX coming here in the next week or so that will allow me to properly test this battery. I did a review on it, but I was unable to properly test it. Which camera am I on here? Oh, this one. I was unable to properly test it because it's a smart battery. Now, I hooked it up in this bank to see. I saw some reviews about how people were having problems with just them acting like dumb batteries. And there certainly is a problem with that. And I'll kind of show you what I mean. I'm going to take you back over to the computer real quick and show you on the screen. So in the screen here, I'm going to go over to Solar Assistant. And so these are the two Chinese batteries that I told you about, the first two. That's the SV1, that is the tan one, and this is the black one, and this is the lead time. Now I want you to notice 51%, 44%, 10%. But this battery is not 10%. It's the same voltage as these are here, and the same exact thing as them. As a matter of fact, we have I have actually tested this, and so this battery sticks, the state of charge sticks, and if you get it 100% full, it sticks at 100% full and doesn't like to come down. And then when you get it to start coming down, then it doesn't like to go back up. And it's really, really picky about it. And you can see it right now. Right now it's saying blinking. So what does blinking mean? It means that it's charging. Well, I would love to know exactly how it's doing that. It obviously is not. Now, what's interesting to see is, let's see what the phone says. Can I, since the phone camera isn't working, we could actually use it for connecting to this battery. So I got a lead time app here. Let's just see what it says. Guest mode. There's it is. And that's the craziest thing. 52%. So the Wi-Fi is reporting 12%. And this thing is 52%. So like I said, I don't know what's going on with it. It's very strange. It acts very odd that way. Make sure it's the right battery here real quick. Maybe it's just a different battery. No, that's it. That's very strange. I don't know. But I'm hoping that when I get the Victron, the GX, I can connect it to that and it'll have a smart charge and stuff. And we can try it on that and see if it's any better. It'll be, you know, give it its fair run, how it's supposed to be ran and how it's supposed to be operated. It's supposed to be a smart battery, so we'll give it a fair run with a smart battery. It comes with a gauge and all that kind of stuff, but that didn't do me any good when I was connected here to the as a 48 volt battery. But it did, regardless of what it was reporting status-wise. I had it hooked up going through the shunt, and it kept up and did just fine, gave out the electricity and put it in just like the Life Power 4 batteries from EG4. So no problem there. And then we'll put that over there. And we will take this. And these cables were all mismatched. If you guys remember correctly, I took those 4 batteries and just kind of glued them together on that night when we were booting up the system, because I wanted to have the system up and running. I wanted to be able to commission it, and I didn't have these LifePower 4 batteries with me. I'm going to disconnect the grid. That little flicker was these LEDs in the solar shed. They are super duper sensitive to power changes. So that was the 6000 XP switching over from grid power to battery power. It looks like nothing really got affected. The cameras, the lights. The light did blink a little bit. Usually you don't even see that much, but it did happen this time. So let me see if I can find a broom here. I'd like to sweep some of that up if I can. Here we go. And get it out of there before I have to mess with it. All right. So how's everybody tonight? Hope everybody had a wonderful New Year's, and I know I did. I got a lot of really cool content played for you guys. Next week, what is today? Today's Monday. So yeah, next week I will be in Atlanta with my wife's coffee business. And, oh, that's underneath that sheetrock. I'll be in Atlanta with my wife's coffee business. Those are the screws for to mount the inverter. So that will be fun. I'll be making coffee for a week. We are always extremely busy when we do shows like that. Usually it's just non-stop madness from the time we open to the time we close, which is a lot of fun. And that's why I kind of want to see if I can convert the coffee trailer into a solar coffee trailer, where instead of having the ability to pull up and start a generator and run everything, to where I just pull up. I think it would take a pair of 6000 XPs. I probably could do it, to be honest with you, I probably could do it on one, because the generator is a 7200 watt inverter generator from Harbor Freight. And to be honest with you, well, no, it runs at about 3200 watts, and then the AB switches off. So no, maybe I couldn't do that. What I'd like though is to find some kind of inverter that has the ability to that, or you know what might even be a better idea is just have a pair. Oh, you know what? Maybe a pair of Pikachus. Because with the pair of Pikachus, I could have them run 110 across both the L1 and the L2. I have no 220s. But then I wouldn't have to worry about overloads, because it would take both L1 and L2 adding up to 6000 to cause me trouble. That might be a way of doing it. I just need another Pikachu. So maybe I just find me another Pikachu somewhere. I'll hook a pair of them up in parallel. And that will be a ton of fun. So, and it'll be really, really, where did that go? Oh, my screens are all gone. Where did they go? I just want to see if there's anybody, what we're doing here. So, hope everybody's enjoying the show. I haven't seen a whole lot of chatting this week. I'm just kind of hanging out. We're just kind of doing our thing and doing what I would do normally. I mean, this is basically a normal night for me, working on the solar system. I've got this all cleaned up now. So now I kind of want to get into, we're going to install this box in this area here. Where can I put that camera? There it is. We're going to install this box in this area here somewhere. I want to be able to hit two of these two 2x4s from two different sides. So probably something right about there. And then I want to put this relay in it to be able to turn this off and on. Maybe I'll even put this in here. Ooh, that might even be better. I can just bring that power right into the side. So what I'm probably going to do is take this cord out of here, take this box off, and then cut this off and bring it in to the side here and go through the relay and then have the plug mounted on the other side, or have the plug mounted on the top. I haven't decided which. Probably on the other side, because that wire is not super bendable. Oh, actually, that stuff isn't too bad. That's not that 6-AUG stuff. That 6-AUG stuff is impossible to move and to work with. The NTTP stuff is just really big and heavy. So we've already turned the power to this off, although I do want to do a real quick check. I can see the breaker right here is off, but just for sanity's sake, I'm going to check. This shows 1 millivolt. And I'm going to put it in this one up here. And of course, that one's so high, the darn thing is dragging. I can't see it. Let's see. And we're at 120.3 volts. Okay, so we know the meter's working and we know the power on that one down below is off. That's what's important. Now, let's take this puppy apart. Feels like just yesterday I put it in here. I am going to use this cushion as much as I can tonight. Save my knees and my butt. So we're just going to pop these off. Oh, I wish this had been a double box. I could have used it up there on that one up there where I need a double mud. That would have been really convenient. So what I'm thinking is that I take this box and attach it to the side or the top, wherever this power comes in. Oh, that's right there's a really good idea. So I put this here, I bring this power in from the bottom or the top, and then have this box mounted on the, oh, that's a great idea. Then I can just cut this wire like right here, take all this out, and then trim off some of this shell, put the cap back on the other side and feed it right back in. Yeah, that's gonna work really well. And then I can take that piece of plywood that I need to add and mount it here first. Oh, and we may even have to break out the paint. Oh, crap. I forgot about that. So we got to break out the paint and get it painted, because the last thing I want to do is put this thing up and then have to come back and paint. And I don't want it to be out for very long because my bit miner is not running, and how am I going to hit any Bitcoins if I don't have a bit miner running? So my idea here on that is that I'm traveling next week and I'm not going to be home. So the solar on the house is roughly generating 25 to 30 kilowatt hours a day right now. And when I'm out of town, it's only going to be using 5, maybe 10 if I leave a hot water heater and stuff on. So I might shut all that off. And I'm thinking I got 7 days at 20 amps or 20 kilowatts. And that's basically going to give me 140 extra kilowatts that I could use. And I'm thinking that I could probably run this thing for a couple of extra days, which is what I'm doing. I'm playing a little bit with, ran some Bitcoin for a little bit, tried to get lucky there. And then I ran some what do they call it? I don't remember the name of the currency. BitDigi or something like that. I actually hit twice on that one, which was kind of cool. So one paid off pretty quickly, the second one. The first one didn't pay off very fast, and that's why I switched servers. And I'm glad I did, because it never paid off. It hasn't paid off yet. The block is registered confirmed. I think there's some kind of minimum payoff that comes into effect. So I went and I found another server, and a reputable one where you have to pay some real commissions of 1 or 2% as opposed to one of the freebies. And that allows me to, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut this stuff. And that allows me to that allowed me to run it again for another day. And during that day, I hit again and got 247 Bitcoins, or not Bitcoins, hell, whatever the name of those coins are. And that should be long enough to run into this box, and connect to that. If I trim it off right about here, this should be fine. At least I hope it is. We're just gonna take that right there. And then I don't have to rewire that plug again. All I gotta do is get it connected to this. And then we're gonna take, I need a screwdriver that it isn't as important. I don't want to take one of the nice ones. Let's do, everything's all a damn mess. Everything's scattered all over the place up here. Tools laying all over the place because I got two different projects going on at the same time, and then the one screwdriver I want is right there. Okay, so there we go. All right, take that out, and then this little screwdriver is really lightweight. This little tiny battery, but man, I tell you what, when I go to put some of those big screws in, some of those old 2x4s in this thing, that's where this place has been here for 20 years. That wood's so hard. I got to pull out the real driver because this one just can't cut it unless you're really, really pushing it hard at the high speed. And that's kind of hard to control. Oh, that came out good. Okay. All right, so now we have that out, and we have this. I'm going to take this off. Like that. And I'm going to push it back through the wall here. Stress that battery cable too much there. There we go. Okay. All right, so there's plenty of room there for me to basically come out of the wall. So I could trim off probably about this much of this and then pop right up out of the wall with this and kind of connect like that. Just leave the whole cable behind the wall. Maybe. Well, let's just see. It's an awful lot of height coming in there, isn't it? So this would have to, yeah, that's going to be tough. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. All right, let me rethink this for a minute here. I could come out, and you know, if I turn, that's going to be a problem too. Well, let's think about this one. We could put it in the wall like this and work around it. Now that would work. The only downside to doing this is, oh, then I could mount that wall plug right there. Huh. Maybe that's the answer. If I can get those two holes to line up, and even if I can't get those two holes to line up, I could mount that right through there with some nice screws. Just do a nice punch on that for that. And I could just attach this right here to the wall. Then bring it right in from the bottom here, go straight up and out the top. You know what? That's actually a really good idea. So that means if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to attach it to the wall this way. I probably bring it all the way down to the ground. And the only reason I'm saying that is I want support on this box in two different ways. And if I put it down here, I can screw it in down and side. And then I can mount this here like that. And then this can come, I can trim it off and it can go right in. What did I do? I said, oh wait, I decided that this wire wasn't near as harsh as the other wire, didn't I? Oh yeah, this wire bends easy, so it doesn't matter. So it can come in the side and it can turn and go up into that plug. So that won't matter. And that'll even leave a little room right below it where I can stick a little relay, a Shelly relay, to give power to turn this off and on, because those little Shelly relays will work perfectly for that. And then I can cook that right up to the Home Assistant, and I can just turn it off and on based on what battery power I have, or if I'm out of town and I want to run it and make sure I don't, have battery waste going to waste. So I think I can put that there, that there. So let's look at how are we going to attach this. And I think the easiest way is just going to be maybe some self-tapping screws, and just screw straight into these side walls here, into that 2x4 there, into the floor over there, and then do the same going down from the top. Let's see. Hey, I had to miss that text. Let me go grab it. Howdy. Misty, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Long time no see. I'm doing a live show this week, a real live show just from the solar shed. So glad to see you're around. I mentioned you in last week's video. Said I hadn't heard from you, but I knew you were out there and still traveling and stuff. So hopefully everything's going well. Hope you're doing good. And I hope that your RV is all working. It's you were one of those, you and a couple of you guys that have just been fantastic fun to work with. Miss got this really cool RV. So yeah, that's all right. And let's see what we got here for these self-setters. Will go right through this box, I think, and into that wall. And then I can do the same over here. Self-setters here, and something into this one there. Oh, I need to drill. Yeah, I need to drill for this though. Okay, so we need to mark that before we do this. We need to mark that. I don't know how long ago your message was, Mom with 2 girls, Mom with 3 girls. Mom 2, 3 girls. Oh, Mom 2, 3 girls. Okay, so 3 girls. All right. Anyway, good to see you. Either way, we're just kind of having fun this week, messing around. Hope that hope this isn't too boring for everyone. I hope you guys are all having fun, or at least in seeing what the heck's going on here at the solar shed this week. Let me think. What do I want to do first? I probably need to drill that hole for that wire to go through there. So let's mark where that's going to be, and let's get a step down bit to drill that hole out, and a real normal metal drill bit to get it started. And we'll do that right here. I think you guys can see me working down here, right, on the floor. Well, for the most part, you can't. So we'll just pull this up a little bit and tilt it down. See if we can get that to work, and then we'll tilt this one down too. Hopefully that'll give you enough of a view. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's going to be fine. Okay, so we're going to take this box, we're going to attach it here, and I'm thinking we're going to put that there, and that means that I need to drill. I wonder if I can score this with a screw. No luck. Let me find a pin. marker would even be better. But I'm probably not going to be able to find a marker. Everything is a damn mess tonight. I got all these tools out for putting that cabinet up and that big rat's nest that I had over there in the corner. And I got all gung-ho about that, and then I realized, oh crap, now I got to keep going or I'm not going to be able to go back. Won't be able to have any monitoring, and don't do me any good to not have any monitoring at this point if I'm tracking all this Bitcoin stuff. So it kind of was interesting, needed to be taken care of all at once. So now that I got that done, I really want this done because I'm going to be traveling next week, and I really don't want to be out of town for 7 days and have the shed sit here running at 100 amps, you know, or 100 watts all day long. So that would be very discouraging. How big do I need for that? Oh, not very big at all. Okay. Let's just take this bit here. Just see if we can get us a good starting hole here for this. Okay. And we'll put that step down in there, step up in there. I want to slow this down. There we go. When you go too fast, it's woo! Turn that a little sideways and it grabbed. Yeah. Grabbed a hole really good. Gonna bust my knee when it does catch. Turn that way. Wow, that is one tough box. If that was a normal metal box like this, it would just be gone. Gotta go all the way up to there. And I'm a few steps away. We'll keep going. Look at that. The battery's getting weak. Woo! That's some noisy stuff. All right. Let's see if we're big enough. I'm going going to think that we're probably not yet, but... Oh, I lied. All right. Actually, a good fit. Okay. Yeah, let's just see if we can clean off all those shavings. Because there is a ton of them. And they're probably going to get all in my knees if I don't clean this up a little bit first. So, let's move some of this out of the way and sweep again. I don't know. Never done one live like this. I always come with a prepared set of statements and stuff that I'm going to be working on and presenting and all of that. So I don't know. I don't know if this will go over well like this. If you guys like the doing it, you know, real time and just seeing all the behind the scenes stuff. So hopefully. Oh, I can't do that. That's my camera. All right. There we go. All right. So let's keep going. We need to clean out that. I need a pair of lineman pliers. There we go. Now, these have a really nice I'm going to have to see if I can clean that up a little bit more inside this box. It's got a metal edge sticking down. Wow, that actually works surprisingly well. Wouldn't have thought. I like these lineman pliers because they have these shaped edge for these holes. You can smooth that right out. All right. Good. Good. Hope you guys can see everything all right. Anyway, all right, so now we're going to see if we can cut this wire. I'm thinking we come in down here. Actually, this needs to come in like this, doesn't it? So I could just angle it to come in on the bottom one. That puts me way down here. Oh, there we go. Let's mark this. Now let's just double check that's a good spot, and that's perfect. Gives me enough slack I can pull it down if I need to, but also enough that I can get it cut off. Now let's try the lineman's pliers first. See how much of this I can get cut. Sometimes you can get lucky on these, and sometimes you can't. I'm going to have to try something with a little bit more cut to it. Now, these are galvanized, there is like a metal bead in here, so they're not easy to get through. And then it's got a plastic coating around it. So what I got to do is get the plastic coating off, get through it, and then be careful not to get to the wire on the inside. That's my biggest fear. Oh, wow, is that really going to work that well? Holy cow. I will take it. Occasionally, Even a broken clock is right twice a day. All right, so we're going to punch this hole out here. All right, punch this hole out here. We have a built-in hole that we made for that one up there. And we are going to, I'm trying to make sure all this is going to fit before I permanently mount it, and then I have to unmount it, because mounting it with those screws, those self-setting screws, is not something you want to do and then undo, and then do and then undo. Matter of fact, I might not even use the self-setting screws. I may just drill a couple of holes in there and put some real wood screws through, as opposed to the self-setters. I like those better for this purpose. Obviously, if it's metal to metal, they work great. But what did I do with that? Oh, here it is. All right, so let's see if we can. All right, before we do that though, let's go ahead and get that done. Let's drill a couple of self-setter holes or screw holes. I think that same size drill bit. No, I need a different drill bit kit. This one doesn't have a bit in the middle. I have a tendency to wobble a little bit when I drill, and I break the small size bits in half when I do that. So I end up with multiple sets of bits for all the big sizes and very few for the smaller sizes. That's about the size of the screws I'll use. So what we'll do is I'm thinking 4 screw holes. 1, 2. We're going to put it in like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put 2 in this wall and 2 down into the floor. And this ought to be in there pretty stable at that point. And I just want to sink them in. Drilling metal, you just got to be patient and don't push too hard. Or like me, you'll end up with multiple sets of drill bits. You'll end up with multiple sets of drill bits, and all of the same size drill bits, about this size, will all be broken. Sometimes I'm not the most patient person. I get in a hurry and skip steps. But half of what I set up is just for the sake of doing it. And so it doesn't matter, because I'm just building it for the fun of building it, and then I take it all apart and build it into something else. So same on this side. 2 down there, 2 over here. Ooh. All right. Now we mount that in there, and this here, like that. Well, I really like the way that looks like that. I wonder if I could get a couple of self-setters to go right into that. I gotta try these square head ones. I probably could get the flat head ones to go in there. Oh, you know what I could do though? I could do a little small starter hole. Let's try that. do a little small starter hole, and that way the self-setter don't have as much work to do. And it could go into it. Just pick a small, let me see what that would look like. And then that'll cut right in and drill right straight through. Make that a little easier to get it in there. Maybe it's a wasted step too, but I figure it's easier to put a drill here and then to try to screw that in through those while holding it in place. And then let's make sure we're still aligned, which we are. Let's see if we can mark this one really more precise. Get a little bit more precise than the first so that they... All right, now... That should work like a champ. All right, now let's find the... and we need the square head bit. I had an inverter go out this week too, which is very frustrating. I had to turn my test system temporarily into a 24 volt system because my 12 volt inverter just stopped working. Woohoo! Did that work or what? Damn. Ah. So, third time's a charm, unless I need to do it a fourth time. Solid as a rock. Double check this one to make sure it's tight. It is. Wow. Nice hole for that to get through. Easy does it. Protection. Able to run that wire through with no trouble. I am surprised. The only thing I wish I had is I wish I had something to coat this hole with, kind of like I did on the shed when I put those MC4 connectors through the shed outside exterior wall, because that was definitely interesting. Making sure you guys are still getting a good broadcast here. Oh, got another message from, let's see. Yeah. You know, when I was younger, I used to sit like this all the time. Now, you guys can't see that real well. I used to sit like this all the time, and I would sit like this, and I would sit here for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Now, these kneecaps will explode if I do that. And sometimes even if I sit here for just long enough, I can't get back up. Today, I'm actually in really good shape. It's not bothering me any at all. But yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. Why don't I have, oh, I see. I don't have the messages on this screen. Well, phooey on that. Let's see if we can add it. Let's see if we can add YouTube comments, maybe? Oh, look at that. Okay. So yeah, I used to do it also, but not anymore. Well, I can't do it as much as I used to. Sitting Indian style, I'm fortunate enough I can still do it. As a matter of fact, I catch myself, I spend a lot of the time during the days on the phone, and I catch myself even in my comfy recliners or chairs, pulling my legs up and tucking them in like this, only to have them go completely numb and not be able to stand up later. So it's definitely crazy. You know, that camera really needs to be moved over. Let's see if I can get you a better angle, guys. Let's see if that's any better. There we go. So that's kind of the idea. But no, you're right. I'm lucky enough I can still do it, but I don't look forward to the day when I can't anymore. It's very painful when it does not work. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Okay. I can't believe cutting that. What is this? This is flexible. Oh, this is liquid proof flexible hose. Okay. So this was actually the nice thing about some of these, when you're building little leads like this to go to a breaker box for only, 20 amps, 30 amps, even 50 amps, you get the ones that go to the leads for dryers and all that. And you don't build them themselves and buy the conduit and buy the connectors and buy this. This whole thing for this connector is like 20 bucks, and they put it all together and sell you the whole thing as one kit. So why not? It's 100 times easier than that. And then you can cut them to match, and you can also buy them with some with a larger wire and some with a smaller wire. So that's kind of nice. All right. That's going to work like a champ. Now let's find some good wood screws. These are all self-setters. Let me go get the other kit. Get some good wood screws here. Set those into those 2x4 frame, nice and solid. I don't know about you guys. I really hate these plastic. This is the first job I did here, and this is for that Pikachu inverter. I put 4 plugs across the bottom here. I got a breaker box to go with it and everything, but I hate wobbly plastic plugs. So I've always used metal for everything that I did. This is my first job with them, and they were okay, but I question their long-term viability, I just don't think they're as strong, and plus I like the idea of having the box itself that they're in grounded, to where if anything goes wrong and any wire busts loose or anything in there goes out, it just shorts out and pops that breaker. And I'll tell you, at 6,000 XP's detection time is freaking awesome. The other day I accidentally touched a little bit close to this one. I had the cover off when I was hooking something up, and I touched just a little bit too close to it, and I saw a little spark, and I thought, wow, that was a little spark. I wonder where that came from. A little bit later I realized it had shut the whole inverter down because it detected an arc fault, and it was so small that I barely even noticed it at 220 volts, at 110 volts. Wow, that's going to freaking work wonderfully. I wonder if I'm going to be able to screw these in over here. I may have to move that out a little bit. Let's try some things don't work the way you want them to work. Yeah, see, that's not going to work. Okay, we'll just have to make do. The fact that, let's put one on this side over here. See if we can get this held in place. Oh, you know what? That don't need no damn screws. That thing is sturdy as a day is long. I am going to see if I can get one self-setter, though, to go in the back of that box, because I wasn't counting on it not having anything of support to hold it. in the back. I was counting on being able to attach it here to the side. And since I can't, that is a wickedest bit. Oh, the magnet fell out. Huh. No wonder I'm having problems with it. All right. Now it makes sense. Pain in the butt, no magnet. This drill, this little bitty drill, it just don't want to do it. I bought that little impact drill because of all the times you're up on a roof and you're working on those panels and stuff like that. I thought I needed a new charger, and I thought to myself, well, I'll get one of these little ones because they're light. They come with those little bitty batteries, but and as cool as they are, and I really have no qualms with them in that extent of the power being weaker than normal, with the exception of they just don't have enough juice sometimes to do the job. So you have to switch back to the big one. If you remember, most of my videos was using this one here, and I'm not even quite sure I'm okay. Now it's going nowhere. Now it's got support both front and back, 3 screws, direct metal to metal, and this box has got 4 screws. Well, it's only got 3 so far. Well, it's only got 2 so far. We'll put the other 2 in here, and this will be as stable and strong as it will ever need to be. Whoa. Here it goes. Damn, that box is strong. All right, I see all those chats. Let me jump over there and see what we got going on over here. All right. Yeah. Where are we at here? Yeah. 40 years of construction work has worn off the meniscus in my knees, and now I'm mechanic's chair for any work below the knees. Haha, yeah. Well, you know what? Those damn things are really comfortable anyway. Gotta go. Dinner's ready. Good luck. Thanks, Zara. Good to see you. All right. Let's continue on here, guys. And all right, now let's get this cable coming back in the side here reattached. All right, and what did I do with that? I felt a screw underneath there. Take this and this, and let's tighten this down again. All right, now we have that done. Let's see what we got here with this relay. Yeah, if I remember correctly, power comes in one side, comes out the other. The relay is activated when the 2 sides are connected to this. So all I got to do is just jumper them, and it'll come on permanently. I can hook up a Shelly device on one side eventually, and we can see how that works. Let's see. We're going to want to, let's put this plug in up here too. Let's get that done. Before we do that, let's do the strip on these so we don't have to fight it. I'm thinking we should put on, let's do, let's, not those. I want some, there we go. Well, where did the little booger go? We'll put on a couple of these so that we can get a good grip on it. If I can find the crimping tool for it. Oh, here it is. Right in the middle of my giant mess. All right, so let's see if we can get them to fit in these small ones that we don't use very often. We don't use them very often because they're too small. All right, let's go one size up. The idea here is to get these to go into, ooh, whoa, wow, that was perfect too. And it popped off. The idea is to get these to go in there and get every wire just like that. All right, now let's do it again. And these will hold that wire together really good and tight, so I don't have to worry about it coming loose or being stranded like on the green. Now these I'm going to put a cap on to just connect them together. But these I want to be held together nice and tight so that when I put them in here and clamp this down, that the wire don't just smoosh out the edges and not have a connection. This will still give it a really good connection. All right, so we're going to put this in here, wrap this around. See if I can get now. What I don't know is this normally open or normally closed? Opening. It's normally open. Huh. I don't know that I can read that. Ah, I might be able to sit Indian style for a little bit, but I'm not going to be able to stand up by the time I get done here. Let's see. I know I brought some glasses out here with me. What did I do with them? There they are. Let's see what we got here. That and a Mountain Dew. That's what we need. All right. Ugh. So normally open would mean that you connect two hots, red and black on one side, red and black on the other. And because it's normally open, that means there's an open connection. It's like a switch being off. Then you would give power to this side and this side. Depending upon the relay, you can have different measurements of voltage for the relay. I could have bought a 24 volt one, which is standard for the air conditioners that most of these go into. But they also sell them like this, which is 240 volts. And the reason I do that is then I can just use these jumpers here to jump from one side to another, insert a little Shelly device on there, and I can control when that power gets turned off and on, and then that turns the switch off and on. So if it's normally open, if something goes wrong with the Shelly device or the power goes off to one of these or a bad connection, instead of this just being on all the time, it's off all the time. And that's the safest way to do it. So hopefully, and I don't remember I didn't look at it that close to see. It says coil 208, 240 volts. That's good. And it's like milliamps that causes it to do it. The short circuit current is 5 kiloamps. Protected up to 80 amps of voltage for illicit fuse is suggested. Now we're going to be running with a 30 amp fuse, so we're more than safe there. And for 220, 240, its full load amperage is 40. So we're well within, you know, the specs of 80%, but this is made for a 3 or a 4 horsepower air conditioner unit, so that you have power to turn the AC on. And when the thermostat comes on, this turns the power on to the compressor. It does not say if it's normally open or normally closed. Now, my guess is, considering it's an air conditioner, your air conditioner normally is off unless your thermostat says to turn it on. So we will assume what we can do is we will hook up a small connection from here to here and from here to here, and we will put a little light switch on them for now just to confirm that it works, and we'll put a little bitty fuse on them because you don't need much voltage for this to actually work. The amperage going from here to here is going to be minuscule, and I'll put a little 2 amp fuse on it. That way if anything goes wrong with the wiring on that, it just pops and this shuts off. It's normally closed, so it shuts the power off and everything's nice and safe. So even though it's 250 volts, it's 250 volts at really, really, really low. If I remember correctly, when I originally hooked this up, I had the hot on this side and the connector on this side for the charge inverter in the RV. And I actually took a meter to say, I wonder if there's voltage between these two. And I put the meter from here to here, and that meter's 10 millivolt connection measuring connector, which is usually millivolts, was enough to trigger the relay to have it to fire into position. So, and it fires with, as it says here, 40 lugs or 40 inch-pounds of pressure, and tighten these screws to 20 inch-pounds and lugs to 40. All right, so nice. So these are screws. So we want to tighten these up to 40 inch-pounds. So, but this should be pretty easy. I think I'm just going to mount this like right here, and we're just going to pre-wire it before I do it though, so that I can basically have the wires coming in one side and out the other, and then I will do the rest, and I'm just going to set it right up in there. So we're going to start off by stripping these ends too, and I'm going to leave the extra in here. There's plenty of room in this case for it. I don't see any reason to, wow, that was tough wire. I don't see any reason to trim off all this extra, especially the way I change things. I mean, I installed this plug on the first. Ouch. I installed this plug on the first, and here it is on the 5th, and I'm rewiring the whole thing. It is the 5th, isn't it? Yeah. So I see no reason to cut this extra off in case I decide I want to change something here in the next week, month, year, whatever the case may be. And this one. I found this little box here of these on AliExpress one day when I was ordering something else, and they were on sale for like 21 cents a piece or something. So I bought like 8 or 10 boxes of them. And at first I was like, yeah, I don't know why I did that. And now practically every project that I work on, I find a reason to put the stranded wires on, and they come in all different sizes. This one's really good for the larger wire, the 8 AUG, the 6 AUG, even the 4, and there might even be one in there for 2. But then they have the smaller ones like this, which works with the good 18 gauge and the 20 gauge and the 16 gauge, and that's great for the 12 volt stuff that I did up here in this panel. So, all right, so now we have that and that. So let's just look at this as we have L1 on the top. We're going to try to put black in L1, and we're just going to, it goes in this side and out this side. So we are going to, since it's 220, it probably don't make much of a difference one way or another. But when in Rome, well, I'm not tall enough to see above there and grab that right screwdriver. I got to find a good electrical common screwdriver here. These lugs are nice and big, but they don't have the square heads on them. So without the square heads, you got to use the common here. So I'm thinking I will put this let's just take this, wire these up, and see if I can get it all in there while it's wired up. And I want to trim off the excess here. I was waiting to see if I was going to need to. These lugs are shallow enough that it doesn't need any of the excess. How you guys doing out there? View okay? Should I zoom in a little bit here? Maybe I can get you a little bit closer view of this up close on this one. Maybe that'll be better. I don't know. We'll try it. Got your far out view and a close-up view now. A close-up view is a little closer, isn't it? I might be able to get a little bit more. Oh yeah. There we go. That'll get you a good, nice up close. All right. So now let's see if we can get all these wires in here, and then see if we can get this to mount. Back there. And we're going to have that same problem that we had with this one. Maybe what I ought to do is pre-drill some holes before I get there. Still got the drill. I'm wondering if I'm even got enough room here to do this. Let's get this connected real quick and make sure we have enough room to do all this. Whether I pre-drill or not is irrelevant. If I cut those wires too short, we got a whole nother project on our hands here. These metal shavings are on everything now. Cutting that box open. Question if that one went in all the way. Take it out and double check. Just feels like it's not as deep as the black one. Okay, now those are good tight. And let's do this with, let's repeat the black here. I'm thinking I may have to switch this from going horizontal across the box, since the wires coming in from the right are long enough, to vertical, so that I have enough room for this red wire to reach wherever I mount this. Now, the simple fact is that it's in there very good. I don't have to worry about that. Now all I gotta do is figure out these ground wires out of the way here. That actually works really well. All right, so now we're going to, I'm gonna have to get down here on the ground and see if I can get a pilot for one of these. There was more room than I originally expected, and it held really well. And then now I'm going to see if I can get a second one down low, down on the bottom down here. Oh, I also got that wire in there. Yeah, let's try this other hole here. See if we can get. And we've almost got it. Last screw. A tight spot. It's low. On the bright side, it's out of the way. And that makes it a good location to not consume valuable real estate in the shed. Valuable real estate in the shed. What the hell? I don't like that. Yeah, I think we're going to try this a different way. That wasn't what I was expecting. Let's try it with. Let's try it with just a standard set screw. Self setter. See if I can get the end. Never doubt them again. All right. Now, we need a nice 20 amp cap screw. Cap. We got some right here too. Good. Good strong one here. Those little puny ones aren't the kind I want for this machine. All right, now we have the electrical part done with the exception of the switch to turn it off and on. So everything's there. Now what should happen is I should be able to turn the breaker on and there'd be voltage here and this all dead. And this is the moment that makes everybody worry. All right. Just to be safe, this is the moment where I always try to do a little bit of safety. Just put some gloves on just to make sure. I don't think it'll do me much good if I need them, but makes me feel better. And ta-da! Breaker's on. Okay. Now let's do some testing. This is where we find out if this is normally open or normally closed. If it's normally closed, then I can come back tomorrow and I can put the bit miner back up and let it run all night. If it's normally open, then it's going to be stopped. The power's going to be stopped there. And I'm not going to be able to. Can you see that? Yes, you can. So here, we got no voltage. Here, that is a terrible view. Can you still see that? Yeah. Here, on this side of this breaker, we got no voltage. On this side of the breaker, we got 1 volt. 1 volt. What? Oh, no, we got 240. What the hell was I testing? 240. All right. That's what I wanted to see. Now, grounded. This should be grounded. And if it is, I should have 110 here. And 120, I do. And 120 here. And I do. Okay. So that means my ground is all the way up to the box, all the way through the case. Everything's good there. I'm even going to try down here. That means it's all connected all the way through and bonded all the way through. And it is. It's bonded all the way through. Okay, good. So now I don't have to worry about any more grounding in this. All of this metal is completely grounded. The good thing about that is if there's any shorts or anything goes wrong, yes, you will see a spark, but it'll immediately trip the breaker and the ground fault in the inverter and stop all the power. Now, the next phase, I'm going to shut this power back off again. And we're going to check these poles again just to make sure that they're dead now. Yep. All right. Now, with that all said and done, the only thing that's left is to connect the switch to turn these on and turn these off. Now we're going to have to hook up a little device to do that. We're probably going to need some space over here on the workbench. So give me a minute to see if I can clean some of this space up here. I got a huge mess here too. Okay. Let's put this, let's just set this right here because we're going to need some of these connectors from this. This is going to be really technically the low voltage. It's high voltage, but it's low power. So we're not worried about any serious voltage here. We're worried about a couple of amps, and we're going to put a small fuse like this. So let's start with a fuse, because that's the most important piece to this. Is anytime you're providing power to something like this, you just need a nice little fuse to make sure that nothing goes wrong. All right, so let's start with we got another little fuse holder here. This one right here. Let me see if I can put it up here on the screen. So this is a little fuse holder. It just spins open and you put a little fuse in there. So I got a little box of fuse over here. Little box of fuses. And you just pick which size fuse you want to go in it. So if I remember correctly, I'm going to use a 0.25 milliamp. Now at 250 volts, that should still be more than enough to trip that. Let's do 0.25 times 240 is 60 watts. Actually, I'm not even going to go that big. Let's go down to 0.1. So 0.1 of 240 is 240 times 0.1 is 24 watts. So this ought to be enough to trip that switch. And what we need is we all saw the jumpers inside there were just standard slip pins. Let's just see which color they are. I don't know if they were the blue ones or the red ones, and I should have checked it before I mounted it all in there. But it's too late for that. So let's grab one of each. So you got the red and the blue. Ooh, you can't see on that screen. It doesn't focus that close. The red and the blue jump pins, and these just push on and connect it. So I can put these on the ends here, and then we'll jump that, and we'll see if we get it to go normally open. And if so, then we can take this and connect this to the Shelly device, and that'll allow me to turn it off and on. All right. So before I go any further, I'll look up at that breaker, make sure it's off. I'm going to not take the shortcut in spite of the fact that my legs ache when I stand at this point. We are going to come over here and make sure the live stream is still running. I got these gloves on now and I can't use the touch screen or the touchpad. All right. And we still running. All right. So well, let's give it a shot. Let's double check and make sure that this is done. And I'm thinking I have to connect both sides. Yeah, and that means I'm going to need two of these. One of them doesn't matter. It can just be a jumper across it. The other one needs to be diffused. Okay, so let's just do it. And let's just start by finding out what size I need these to be. It is definitely the red. Yeah, it's the red ones. Okay. So now let's come over here to the workbench. The messy workbench as it is. I'm going to slide some of this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to bring the camera up. There we go. All right, so all we're going to do is take these red ones. I got a few more of them over here. I need 4 of them actually. I only need the clip size because that's the only side that actually gets connected here. So we're going to make one jumper cable, just jump straight across. And then we're going to make another one that's fused. And if that works, that gives me a hot wire for the night to get the amp miner running again, if I choose to do it that way. Or if I want to, if I've got another Shelly device sitting around here somewhere, which I'm not sure if I do, but if I do, then I can connect that and turn it off and on automatically. And I don't know that I have another one, so I'm going to try to just build the jumper for now, and then I'm going to have to order another Shelly. And the more I think about that, I'm pretty sure I don't have one. All right. So this ought to go pretty quick then, because this is no more than taking a pair of clamps like this and clipping it onto the existing wire that's here. match the color of the connector to the wire. And that's one end. And then on the other, we'll do the same. And that's two ends. All right, that one's done. That one has the fuse in it. Then the second half, we're going to get a piece of, I ran the last one on this wire. This is just some 18 gauge wire. And I'm just going to build a jumper out of this. Going to strip the two wires apart from each other. Take the wire cutters and snip off a piece. And we will hunt down what I did with the wire cutters. Take the wire cutter, snip off a piece, and then we are going to strip this down on either end so that we can, again, connect the jumper piece to it. Same exact method as before. Red clamp, red clip. I try to find two different places that I can clamp it. That one, the missed on the second one, so I'm going to find a third place there. The stranded wire sometimes doesn't hold as well, or doesn't, it doesn't ever even clamp down on it, so sometimes I like to crimp them twice. All right, now we have a jumper, and we have a jumper with a fuse. So let's go back down to the floor here. And let's hook up the jumper and the jumper with the fuse. So the jumper is going to be on L1 here. And I'm just going to jump the power source side of this to the relay side at the top. And then on the bottom, I'm going to jump the power source side over here to the bottom relay side. Now, when I turn this on, it should be connected to that coil and provide enough power, provided that my fuse is large enough to trigger the coil and this plug become live, and it'd be hot on this side also. So, here we go. We are going to flip this breaker on. I heard a click. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I think that was the relay clicking on. We are going to check here that we have power on the power side of things, 240, and power on the relay side of things, 240. So that definitely worked. Now these plugs are live and I can use them. What I can also do is insert a switch. What I'm going to use is a Shelly device. It's a standard wall light switch for 240 overseas. They also make them for here use in the America at 120, but they work well with 220 because it's half the amperage. So we will run those plugs into the Shelly device, use it to power the Shelly device, and allow me to use Home Assistant to flip that off and flip that on. And that is pretty successful. Now I'm going to look around a little bit and see if I have a Shelly device here anywhere before I give up and say that I don't have one. Sometimes I have extras sitting around and it's just a matter of me remembering where I put them. And for some reason, I thought I found a package of 2 or 3 of them the other day, but I don't know for sure. I just don't remember. So I'm going to look around just a little bit here and see if I can find one. But at the absolute worst case scenario now, we have a functioning wall outlet again, and it is capable of providing power to the Antminer to get it running again. And I could hook up a light switch or something to it. But to be honest with you, the first thing I'm going to be doing is automating it. So really, there's no reason for me to go to the trouble to do that when I'm going to turn around and automate it right after I got it working. So I don't see. It's going to be in this bucket over here if I have it. This is from my packing of the RV when I moved back. So let me just kind of look down in the corners of this and see if one has fallen down in there. Something tells me I had an extra one. But something always tells me that I don't need to spend more money, and then I do. So let me just check, because this could be another one of those cases where I think I remember having something that I do or that I don't. You know how that goes. And then you end up having to spend to get there. Always having to spend to get there. And this is just one of those buckets. It just has a bunch of little pieces and parts. Unfortunately, it was packed unorganized. I just kind of got frustrated with the whole process and just threw it all in here. No, there is nothing here. Now let me go double check my supply kits there. Make sure I don't have one in my actual organized parts and pieces. Pretty sure I would have remembered that if I did, though. Check my drawers. All of these over here. No. Nothing there. Let's see. In this kit, I have some solder, fuses, nothing that looks like the right thing. Got this one last bag here to check, and then we're going to call it. And just assume that we have to come back on another night and hook up the relay. But hooking up a Shelly device isn't that difficult. I mean, it just basically is a matter of fact, I probably posted a video on hooking up the light switches in this solar shed at the very beginning using exactly that device. I used the Shelly for that, so I could turn the lights off and on, and if I forget, that it gets taken care of. Nope. No luck. So we don't have any devices, but what we do have is a good 220 plug that's ready to operate. So let's plug back in the Antminer and let's turn it on. Make sure everything runs the way it should run. And before we do that, I'm going to turn this back off. And I'm going to come down here to this box. And we're going to mount this over all this electrical so there's no accidents. Phillip head. After I picked up all the tools. Oh, well, that's interesting. Whoa, got that turned up all the way, don't I? Not the intent. And last but not least, got there. And let's put the lid on it. Go. Boy, you're being stubborn tonight. What am I got here? I don't know why. I don't understand that. Oh, I see. There we go. All right. And we tighten. All right, now it's safe and secure. Sort of an actual wall plate cover, which I would feel better if I solved that too. So we will. I didn't realize these were the same until I got to looking at it earlier this afternoon. I'm thinking, oh, those are exactly the same size plugs. Those are exactly the same size plugs as a normal 110. They're just slots are in a different spot. Okay, there we go. Now, let's clean up some of this pieces and parts, and then let's turn this puppy back on. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the show tonight. I know it was kind of different. It was a real live walk through the through connecting something as opposed to an edited video and all kinds of stuff like that. And you get to see all the real behind the scenes of what the actual steps really are. And the finished product doesn't look bad. And now we can put that wood over there and paint it without worrying about that box being in the way, which is actually where we started. We were going to mount that piece of this piece of wood and then put it on top of it. And then we decided, oh, we could put it in the wall and it would even come out better. So we changed directions right there at the very beginning. Good fun. Always good fun. All right. Let's give this puppy a try. What do you think? Before I do, though, there's a lot of plugs you can make mistakes on, but these amp miners are very expensive. Click, I hear the relay come on when I do that. Let's just double check that amp wattage, the voltage in the plug. I can't see it. There we go. 240. 240. Okay. That's good. off. It kind of sound funny now when I turn it on because you hear this click, you know, the relay clicking at exactly the moment that you flip it on. That'll be kind of interesting to hear when I put the Shelly in there. I'll be able to click it and turn it off and on. Instead of just hearing the Shelly go click, click, you'll really hear it click on. Now, I'm going to turn this amp miner on. We started the show with it on, but please keep in mind it is extremely noisy. It's sitting over there by the door so it can blow the heat out. So I'm going to leave it over there, and I'm going to flip this on. You ready? Set, go. I hear everything click. You can hear it come on. I don't know if you guys can hear it. That's it booting up. Fans slow down a little bit. We will come over here while that boots up, and let me just see if I can show you guys the screen where it's coming up. Let's see. So here's the wattage coming out right now. It's at 180 watts, which is practically nothing at this point. That was 2 minutes ago. So we'll give it a few seconds to that's 20 seconds ago. So this one's going to be the first indicator. You're going to see a huge drop in battery pull, and then you'll see the 6000 XP output. Now, the difference between these two is where we have the 48 volt stuff pulling out for anything. So the wattage pull is from the shunt. That means all the power coming out of it from all devices everywhere. The 6000 XP is the true wattage of the load being provided to the 120 watt devices. So it doesn't include losses or operating cost or idle consumption or any of that stuff. And sometimes during the day when you got a lot of solar coming in, that can be quite significant. So we'll go back over here to the amp miner there, waiting for it to come up. And you can see that it's going to take it just a few minutes to come up. And that's, while it comes up, you can see it has that red light on it. That just means that it's not operating yet. It's still booting up and everything. So we'll wait for that a little bit. But I did go into, interesting thing is, I did go into, and you can see here, this is the dashboard for the amp miner. I'll hit reload on it and see if it's going to pop up yet. Not yet. This is where I was processing earlier. You can see the hash rate at 82 or so. I've got it turned on low mode, so it's been fairly slow. But workers right now, I've got one worker, but it hasn't been online for an hour and 52 minutes. So that's because we stopped processing in order to go into live stream. So has it really been an hour and 52 minutes? Wow, it has been. So, okay. So we'll wait for this to boot up. And it may be that it's just not... let me switch the... Okay, so that's showing you the picture-in-picture. Okay, good. Let me get to... Let me see if I can get to... while we wait for that to boot up, I want to go see if the IP address to the amp miner has changed, because it doesn't look like it's coming up. But that could just be that the IP of it has changed, which wouldn't surprise me, it being off for 2 hours. So let's give it let me just give it a real quick try here. Log into my router, and let's see, attach devices. And here I can show you guys. And then I'm going to scroll down here and see if I can find it on the list. And not yet. All right. So, oh, you know what? and it's not going to because it has no internet connection. All right. So when I first started this, I pulled the internet connection down because it was running across my path and in my way. This Antminer does not work with wireless. It has to have a full-time internet connection. So I'm going to give that a connection there. And we are going to switch this screen so you can see my screen capture. We'll leave a picture of the Antminer in the corner there. And here's the actual Antminer while it's running. So you can see here it's not processing anything, and it hasn't actually connected to the server. It does confirm that the servers are there and that they're working. And I am processing Bitcoin Cash, attempting to hit a Bitcoin Cash. I ran for Bitcoin for a few days, and then I also ran Digibyte for a few days. And this is the one that I found that did not get assigned correctly. I hit 2 of these, so I got 400 or 500, 277 coins on each. One of them was immediately deposited in my account. The other shows my account here, but did not get deposited in my bank, and it shows extracted by the company that I was running it through. So I hit that on the 3rd. So I immediately switched when it didn't show up on my account. Oh, I hear the Antminer ramping up. Testing that fan out, I think, is what it was doing. And this is not showing anything connected yet. Let's see if it shows anything on the board. No, it's not showing anything on the board yet. Still waiting for it to come back online. And it won't come online until it shows the first connection. Now, okay, now we can see the watts. You can see the watts here. I want to make sure you guys can actually see those watts. Yes, you can. Okay. So the watts here are 700 watts, and so this is starting to go up. And we're going to see this climb dramatically to 2,000. Oh, there it went. Up to 2,000 watts. And this is where the BitMiner itself is going to take an active role in running. Where is it? Start processing. Here we go. There it goes. So now the chips are cutting, and this has got 3 boards with 126 processor chips in each. And so it's going to start processing now, and then that will start to report. And once it starts to report, this will turn to green, and you will start seeing accepted packets. There goes the first 14 packets, almost right away, bringing us up to 9,000 gigahash processed. So this will start to amp up. And if I come back over here now, this should, under active, now that we've got something reported, it takes a second for it to register. It's going to take it just a second to register. But it's starting to report now. It's up to 30, and it's going to climb all the way up to about 80 before it gets up to its full speed. Now it's speeding up to 30, to 60, and it should get up to about 85 when it's all said and done. So it is up and running. We did successfully move that plug over. Now all we have to do is hook up the automated piece of it, and that's going to be the gist of it. That Antminer right there is going to run practically all night. I like to leave the door cracked like that and just let the air out. I'll probably build a case for this at some point where I can put a filter on this side to filter the air coming in so that it doesn't get dirty air. And then we will, from there, we will process, and hopefully I'll hit some big money. I'm doing solo mining, so I'm trying to see if I can get lucky, hit one of the big ones. The big pots they excite me. It's like going to Vegas. You know, you don't go to Vegas to gamble at nickels and dimes and win nickels and dimes. You go to Vegas to hit the big money, and you want to hit the big pot, and that's what I want to do. So I think that's going to wrap it up for the night. I hope everybody had a ton of fun watching and enjoying the show here, and as we built out part of the solar shed and got the BitMiner power supply hooked up, and we will conquer the auto relay, turning it off and on with a Shelly device. It'll be a very simple little connection. I'll take that one jumper out, put a Shelly device in the middle of it, and that will be the end of it. So you guys have a great weekend. Happy New Year. And let's just real quick, I want to do a little bit of celebration for I hit 18,000 subscribers earlier today. I had 18,000 subscribers earlier today. So thank you guys for the 18,000. It's fantastic. For you members, you have early access to the videos that are out there. Hope you're enjoying them. There is one posted on this BitMiner out there already, been published here in a few days. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming. Have a great week, and may your New Year's be your most prosperous ever. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being part of the show.
Over the last couple of months, I have shown you a lot of different solar builds. We have done everything from a $180 solar shed to the solar shed version 2 that had the solar 12-volt solar system built into it, to an RV 48-volt system, a DIY battery, or even my wife's coffee trailer setup. The one thing I keep hearing over and over from you is that I want to do this myself, but I don't know where to start. So I built something for you. I'm calling it simply the DIY Solar Class. It's a self-paced, approximately 12-week step-by-step course that shows you how you can design, wire, and power your own solar system the right way, the safe way, and without wasting a whole bunch of money the first time around buying things that you don't need. Learn from my experience. Each week, the curriculum focuses on one of the components in a solar system, either that be panels, batteries, inverters, wiring, real builds, real life situations, real designs, with all the details, with diagrams and videos so that you can follow along. I built this class because I remember when I first started how confusing my first solar system was. I didn't understand amps, I didn't understand volts, I didn't understand wire sizes. I understood electricity a bit, but fuse ratings confused me. Different types of fuses confused me. There was so much information overload that putting it all together with a random selection of videos out on the internet was very difficult. So this class is intended to put it all together. It takes everything that I've learned from dozens and dozens of builds and all the mistakes that I've made along the way, and there have been a bunch of them, and turns it into one complete roadmap that you can follow step by step and get the information you need. So if you've watched my videos or wanted to build your own system, this is how we can do it together. Let me give you an idea of what is included in this class. So you're going to get a step-by-step video lessons for each part of the solar system. Printable diagrams and parts list. Either you can follow them exactly, or we can work together to modify them to meet just your specific needs. We'll do a live Q&A session every other week just for the class so that everyone gets all of their questions answered. I've also included a one-on-one call to go over and to review your designs, or just talk about what your solar system is involved, and make sure that you're comfortable and have all the questions you need in that one-on-one setting. Not only that, but you're going to get lifetime access to all this content as I update it as we go along, so that you can go at your own pace, come back at any time to refresh, and when I add new content, you already got it. You can always come back and pick up where you left off, or rewatch the entire course anytime you want. If you've been waiting to build your own solar system, if you're looking for the perfect gift for someone who wants to build a solar system, if you want to put solar in your shed or on your RV or take your house off grid, this class is for you. This is why I made it, to give you that one-on-one help to make sure that you do it right and you do it safely. Founding members right now, between now and the December 31st, get 50% off the class. Starting January 1st, the class goes to full price. So right now, if you sign up, you get it for half price. That's a lifetime membership. You'll never be taken out of the class. You can join today at mattmansolar.com/class or click the links below. Either way, I'm going to keep teaching on YouTube. I enjoy it way too much. But if you want to go deeper, if you want to know exactly what you need for your system, this class is for you. If this sounds like what you've been looking for, head over to mattmansolar/class or just scan the QR code on the screen to grab your spot. Founding members get 50% off through December 31st, and we kick things off on New Year's Day. I'd really love to see some familiar names from the comments inside and help you design, build, and update your system step by step. The link's below, and it's also pinned in the top comment. See you inside.